Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Let's Go Sportsball podcast. My name is Ron, joined by my co-host Owen. And let me tell you, Owen, this has been a very good weekend.
Yeah.
It's been great. I loved it. We'll talk about...
Not for one side of the border.
Yeah. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Today we're going to cover a little bit of the NFL. We'll cover NBA, NHL, and the Four Nations, as well as some NBA and MLB.
Yeah, like the three things that are happening in the MLB.
Yeah, it's right now, as far as we know, spring training has taken off, so it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah,
so let's start out.
We won't talk about Dustin May apparently screwing up his esophagus eating a salad. I don't want to know how you manage that.
I don't know either.
I don't want to know. Like, did he swallow a fork? I don't know how this works.
He swallowed them.
I don't
You'd
know.
have long-term damage.
Who cares? Let's talk about Sportsball.
First thing we're going to talk about is the NFL. I've got a few things here. One is the best possible fits or best possible landing spots for Travis Hunter, according to a CBS Sports reporter. At number 5, it's the Tennessee Titans. I can see that.
Yeah.
But mainly, in my opinion, I think they need to mainly focus on trying to get a quarterback right now. Will Levis was not as good as they thought he was going to be, especially in his rookie year. The thing about putting rookies in right off the bat is they don't usually perform. Yes, there are some that do really good, but then there are others that just don't do it. So I don't know if it's the best fit. Yes, they do need wide receivers, but they need to mainly focus on the quarterback aspect first.
Definitely. And number 4 is the Cleveland Browns. And honestly, I don't know about this.
I can't argue with that.
Because here's the thing. I mean, Travis Hunter's
athlete.
I completely forgot what
Cornerback, and he's a wide receiver.
Okay, yeah, I got it mixed up. I keep thinking of like 30 different players, but yeah, like, I don't know if that's really been the problem for Cleveland though. I mean, there are a lot more problems that need to be filled, and
yes,
with Travis Hunter going in, I don't think that's necessarily the kind of thing that they need to be worrying about. Especially considering the fact that, I have to say this, and I don't mean this to be a jerk, but the Cleveland Browns were an absolute disaster last season. So Travis Hunter is a great player, but do I think he's what Cleveland needs?
No.
Not necessarily.
No. Right now, I think what Cleveland needs to do is first they need to go after a edge rusher, because if they trade,
absolutely.
Because the problem is if they trade Myles Garrett, then they're not going to be in a great position, because then the defense is not going to be as good. I have confidence in the defense of the Cleveland Browns, but it's going to be one of those that I would rather focus on an edge and focusing on getting the quarterbacks back up to standard rather than looking for a two-way athlete.
Yeah.
So, at number 3, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh.
That one is a little bit better fit, honestly.
Yeah.
They are really great with the run game. Trevor Lawrence he's still doing good to this day, despite the injuries that he's had, especially with the concussion that he had after that game.
That was such a dirty play. That was disgusting.
It was. And I don't like seeing those happen, but it's a part of football.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's a part of football. I think this would be a really good spot for him.
Yeah.
The question is are the Jaguars actually going to get him?
Yeah, that's
they're going to look at other spots in there.
Yeah, because they aren't as high in the draft as the
Browns,
or the Browns or
the Titans
or any of them. I had a brain fart, but yeah,
Patriots should have had that first round pick.
Yeah,
overall.
But then they they just screwed their tank so that they could beat Buffalo. I'm just like, I remember we were watching that game, and I just stood up and yelled, "Hey, great job! You blew your tank!" And so it's just like, you had it's like the Dr. Phil bit where he's like, you had an opportunity and you blew it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like, and looking at Jacksonville, I feel like getting Travis Hunter, that would be awesome for them.
It would. I think it would help them.
Yeah, but the problem is, since they're like a bit lower in the draft, and Travis is going to be one of those top players that's going to get drafted. I don't know if they're going to get him. And plus, and I mean, Jacksonville was also not a good team last year. I mean, they were a mess. The Trevor Lawrence wasn't himself, and then the injury just completely toppled his game. So if he got drafted to there, and Trevor Lawrence got back to form, I mean, Jacksonville could possibly make some noise.
They would, yeah.
Yeah, but as of right now, that's wishful thinking, but we'll have to see. And speaking of the Patriots, they are number 2 on this list. And I gotta say that
somewhat surprises me, but at the same time, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have a very interesting. If they get him, I think that wouldn't be too bad for New England. I mean, they're still trying to get back to that period that they had in the 2000s and 2010s of their dominance, and they want to get back to that form soon, because as of right now they are terrible. So
not doing too well.
I think that's something that if they were to get Travis Hunter, that could probably work.
In my opinion, I think the top 3 could be a good one. So number 1 is actually the new. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, you're good. And unlike Jacksonville, they're higher in the draft, and so they have a bigger chance of selecting him and stuff like that. So do I think that they're going to take him? It's possible, but I'm not entirely sure.
I was gonna say, I'm looking back at the draft order. The Patriots are 1 spot ahead of Jacksonville.
Oh wow! I thought the Jaguars were way further down.
If you look at it, we've already seen the top 3. If you look at it, the top 3 are actually, look at that, they're right behind each other.
Oh yeah, how about that?
That's crazy. But when we go back to, now that we go back to this, the number 1 landing spot, or one of the possible landing spots for Travis Hunter, is actually the New York Giants. New York Giants hold the 3rd overall pick, Patriots hold the 4th, and the Jaguars hold the 5th. In my opinion, if I had to go with all 3 of those, I would say probably the best fit. New York is doing really good. Yes, they don't have a great wide receiver base behind them, but I think, in my opinion, I think Jacksonville is probably his best fit.
Yeah,
I think he could bring him back.
And see, I completely forgot what the draft order was, and I forgot that Jacksonville was that high. But even then, I mean, with such a good player, I mean, you're basically just kind of sitting there hoping, please don't pick him, please don't pick him, please don't pick him, please don't pick him, please don't pick him.
So if we were to go in order of the best landing spots, number 5 is the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Number 4 is the number 2, and then you go 5 with Jacksonville, who is at number 3. Number 2, you have the Patriots, who are at 4, and then you have the Giants, who are number 1 at the 3rd pick. So how do the top 2 draft order picks end up at the bottom, but then you got the 3 kind of right behind them?
Well, I mean, you do got to consider. I mean, looking at a lot of the draft projections that we've been looking at over the past few episodes. I mean, Travis hasn't come up first overall.
Yeah.
So and you've had guys like Cam Ward and stuff like that at first, and so I mean, I guess it's kind of understandable. So, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. And we're still are planning to go live and actually watch the first round together. We'll go live on YouTube. And
when is that again?
April 8th. Thursday, April 8th at 8 o'clock. I really don't want to have to do it by myself, and I really want to see us do it together.
Oh, yeah. I'll try my best.
So we'll do what we can. Hopefully I can get him in a Browns jersey, but I'm pretty sure he's going to show up in a Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Nah, man, I'm going to show up in a ref shirt. You already know what it is.
Oh Lord,
no, of course.
It's not even a game.
Of course, I'll come up in my. It's a Baker Mayfield jersey. It's close enough. All right, I have a Baker Mayfield Buccaneers jersey. It's close enough to the player that you guys traded away.
So, do you have any stories or anything that's really, I guess you could say, big news around
Well,
here?
Speaking of the draft, apparently Jackson Dart is reportedly a top QB prospect in the eyes of the New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are reportedly very high on Dart and potentially select him with one of their picks. Andrew Berry, the GMs of the Browns, reportedly loves Dart's processing abilities and his accuracy from within the pocket. For Cleveland, no.
So I'm sorry, but first off, Cleveland goes from predicted to get Travis Hunter, then Cam Ward, then Shedeur Sanders, and now they're looking at him. What is going? Oh my God. We are just building QBs just to send them off.
Exactly, and we keep bringing this up. The Cleveland Browns have a really, really, really bad history of drafting quarterbacks.
They do.
You know, you have like 30 iterations of Johnny Football and stuff like that. You have all these different players.
Don't talk to me about Johnny Football.
They all come in, and then they either waste away, or they proceed to blow a tire harder than the Boston Bruins in the 2023 postseason. It's hard to see because it's like QB development is an extremely important thing when having a franchise in this league, and with quarterbacks becoming, with quarterbacks basically being the most important part of your roster, you want to make sure that they are developed properly, or else they're just going to be throwing the football at a wall and being like, did I get a double or something like that. And so with a team like the Browns, their quarterback development has been infamous for being disastrous. So I don't think this would work.
I don't think it would either. And looking back on the history of the years that I have watched them play,
Football.
As I watch back at it, Baker Mayfield was a great one. Odell Beckham Jr. left, and he decided to leave. Well, I'm just giving examples.
No. I know. It's just because yesterday we were at that card meeting, and then you went into a rant about it. I was like, buddy, calm down. I just saw a Baker Mayfield PSA 10. Leave me alone.
And we're going to look at, but you also look back at like that. You look at Joe Flacco, who did really good for our season, brought the Browns to the playoffs, and then the Browns put in Deshaun Watson. I got to stop saying we, but at the same time, you do say that for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well.
Touché.
So the Browns put in Joe Flacco, and then they get Deshaun Watson in there and just tanks.
But why would they do that?
Because Deshaun Watson is their franchise QB that they think is going to take them.
He's more like their franchise failure.
Exactly. That's what when I say we, I mean the fan base has pushed so often.
Yeah.
Is because he has, in my opinion, he has not been good since his rookie season.
Not at all, no. He's been a disaster.
And before we get into a rant, let's go on to the next thing. What else do you have?
So, apparently, the Jets are the current betting favorites to land quarterback Justin Fields.
Ohio State legend.
Oh, God.
Had to get you back.
As he is set to leave Pittsburgh, Fields could potentially be pairing back up with college teammate Garrett Wilson. So hey, you're the Ohio State man. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this to have them paired back up again after they had played for years at Ohio State, it has been amazing. I think I want to say it's a good move, especially with the Aaron Rodgers news about him leaving.
Yeah.
I think this should be a really good pairing. Plus, Justin Fields is a great, I guess you could say, two-way quarterback. He can run and he can pass.
Yeah, I mean that's
really
something
good.
that's very important with quarterback. I mean, with defenders becoming more and more like, oh, I'm gonna run up to you and break off your ankles and sell them on Craigslist. Like you're gonna movement in the pocket's is very, very important in today's game where sacks are basically a death sentence. So you got to be able to move around a bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very good thing to have. And with the New York Jets, I mean, especially considering the fact that Aaron Rodgers is so old that any possible sack could mean he gets damaged big time because he's just like, you darn kids, I'm gonna
take his first.
Gosh, gee willikers, and then he gets Cronwall.
Take the first season, or what should have been his first season.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
First game in, tears his Achilles, out for the rest of the season. And
I remember that was.
It's crazy.
That was a meme.
Hopefully the Jets can get back on a track. I want to see them do good.
Yeah.
And that's just me. I want to see them do good.
Yeah.
Coming from a fan who gets excited but also disappointed at their team at the same time. It's something I want to see happen. I want to see them do good. Take Detroit, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Detroit, holy smokes.
I mean, they were one of the they were basically just one of the teams in the NFL. They were just like one of those. They were like a means to an end. And then out of nowhere, a couple years ago, they just became absolute beasts. I mean, I've told you before. Like, I still think that that Stafford and Goff trade worked out incredibly for both franchises.
I was going to say,
LA, Matthew Stafford did amazing, and he won a Super Bowl with them. And then you had
Goff.
Excuse me. Yeah, something. I had something stuck in my throat. Jared Goff coming in, and he's been excellent. He has been an amazing quarterback for Detroit, and so still, you love to see trades like that work out. It's just like, hey, look at that, it worked.
We'll see how it goes.
And speaking of Aaron Rodgers,
please don't turn this into a Jimmy Butler.
I swear to God, I meant to tell you before this episode started, do not bring up his name, but here we are. So it's gonna
Aaron Rodgers is starting to turn into him, basically.
You have to admit. I mean, he hasn't been on as many teams as Jimmy, but it's like it's like his name's becoming like Voldemort, where we're not allowed to say it. But anyway, so speaking of Aaron Rodgers and not Jimmy the Bucket Man. So CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin predicts that Aaron Rodgers will sign a 1-year, $25 million deal with the Tennessee Titans this offseason. Why? Why?
I'm sorry to all the Tennessee Titan fans on his reaction and everything for saying why. Yes, he has not been that good for years, just like how Deshaun Watson has not been that good for years. But look at the difference between Will Levis and Aaron Rodgers.
They both sucked.
Yes, but who played the better of the season?
Touche.
Who's got a lower top 10 versus a higher top 10?
Yeah.
Draft order.
I got you. But yeah, I mean, like, my major thing is that I don't know if Aaron Rodgers would fit there, but that's just me. All right, I'm still kind of iffy on him.
I understand. And the question is also going to be Devontae Adams reconnecting with him at the Jets. Is Devontae going to follow him, or is he going to stay at the Jets? In my opinion, I think Devontae should stay with the Jets. But that's just me.
Yeah, and I mean, and with the Jets, I mean, with Aaron Rodgers leaving, they are reportedly 100% in the quarterback market for the 2025 NFL draft, and I hate to keep crapping on Aaron Rodgers because I still do think he's like I still think he's an incredible player. But
I have respect. I have respect for him.
Yeah,
is he Hall of Fame worthy? That's where, for me, it just depends. He's had great seasons. I believe he's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I had to think. He won it with the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. So he's there, but I don't know if that's where I'm saying like it's right on the edge of Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, but
speaking of the Jets,
but yeah, so I mean like with that, I mean again they're going to be in the quarterback market this coming draft, and I think that's a good move. All right, like with Aaron Rodgers, with him leaving and stuff like that, this team needs a new quarterback, and looking for one of the drafts. I mean, the draft has some very, very interesting players and interesting quarterbacks for sure. So, I think the Jets, like, if they're wise in their thinking and if they draft correctly, they could certainly like get a really, really good quarterback to help bring their team back to relevance.
Yes,
and hopefully make the postseason.
Just depends.
You never know.
Just depends. It depends on who they get. The question is, how early is Travis Hunter? Well, Shedeur Sanders going to get drafted. Yeah. How early is Cam Ward going to get drafted? Don't you dare.
I was going to say first overall. Calm down. Too high for a goalie, in my opinion.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
You son of a...
Look, I remember Cam Ward as a goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes that won in 2006. Because I know about Sportsball. All right, continue.
We'll see how it goes. It just depends on where those QBs are going to get drafted. Because where they're lower, in my opinion, if they're going to get a good QB, they're either going to have to trade up to the first overall pick or trade. Either way, I think they're going to have to trade up.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's just where they have to go. So.
Also, the Seattle Seahawks have apparently done a lot of. They've apparently done a bit of research on Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart,
the one that we were talking about earlier.
Jenks, you owe me a Coke. So, well, how about that?
Ooh, that's good.
But yeah, so apparently they've been doing research on him, and what are your thoughts? Do you think that's a good move?
For the Seahawks, it just depends. They've been decent. If I look back at the draft order, they are currently sitting at 18, so they're about halfway. So you could put them on as a good team, or you could put them on as a bad team. It just depends on how you look at them and everything else. So I don't know if that would be a good move for Seattle, in my opinion. I think they should stick with where they need more. I don't think they need a quarterback because, if I remember correctly, Geno Smith is their starting QB.
I mean, he hasn't been too bad, I think.
Exactly. That's where I'm getting to. I don't think he's been too bad. But they don't need a quarterback as much as like the Jets, the Titans, and some of those other teams up there. So.
Yeah. Also, just one more thing. Mm-hmm. The Detroit Lions, Aiden Hutchinson, wants Myles Garrett of your Cleveland Browns to be a tandem with the Lions to be a tandem next season.
If that happens,
look out.
I'm sorry, but that is I will say that now, and you can clip that or do whatever. Mark this down for next season.
I'm gonna do it.
Mark this down for next season. If they do that, the Detroit Lions will be the number one defense in the nation. That is what I'm saying, because Aiden Hutchinson would have, in my opinion, if he did not get hurt and seriously injured, took him out of the rest of the season.
Oh my God, yeah.
I watched that video and I can still hear that. I can still
hear
that in my ear.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
But Aiden Hutchinson was on pace to beat, I believe it was the franchise record for the Detroit Lions in sacks and everything else. I can't remember if it was. I don't think it was NFL record, because I think T.J. Watt or Myles Garrett, one of the two, has already broken that and everything. But if the Detroit Lions do get Myles Garrett, that is going to be huge, and that's just going to be the end of it. They will be the number one defense in the NFL, in the nation, hands down. I
definitely agree. I mean, looking at Myles Garrett, he's an unbelievable player. He's excellent, and I think pairing him up with Aiden Hutchinson, you might as well just give him the ball. It's don't even try to get to your receiver. Just be like, you know what? There's no point. Here you go. Go nuts, buddy. It's I'm imagining it. It's a very, very interesting place for the Lions, and like you said, yeah, they could definitely be one of, if not the best defenses in the entire league.
Who's going to beat them? Who's going to be the better defense is the question.
The Buccaneers, because I am delusional.
You could say that.
I just said I was delusional, Ron.
I know. So,
I am so delusional. I'm on that Joe Rogan drug. Whatever it is.
So we're going to look at some of the new coaching hires that you may or may not have seen.
I'm speaking to aliens. Oh, yeah, Dre Bly.
Dre Bly is now an assistant defensive backs coach for the Jets. You have Doug Marrone, I don't know how to say his name.
That guy, Doug,
is the offensive line coach for the New England Patriots. You've got Jeff Ulbrich, could be said either way.
His name is Jeff. Oh, God.
Who is the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. You've got Ben McAdoo, who is the senior defensive assistant over at New England now. You've got Chuck.
Rano.
If I am thinking correctly, is that That's not the defensive coordinator for Kansas, or what used to be the defensive coordinator for Kansas City.
Oh.
That looks almost exactly like him. We'll get back to that here in a minute, but
remember.
It would be one of those we would have to look back. We'll probably let you know a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm already looking it up. Chuck Pagano. Good old Chucky boy. What did you say his role again?
Kansas City Chiefs.
No. I mean
for him, he is a senior defensive assistant / secondary, I guess, coach for the Baltimore Ravens now.
Nope.
So he has
not work for the. He has not worked for the Chiefs. He worked with the. He worked with the Browns.
But you look at him, like, at first glance, he does look like that defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I will say, I do kind of see the resemblance.
Then we go over to Darren Rizzi, who is the special teams coordinator for the Denver Broncos now. You've got Matt Eberflus, who is the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys? I hate the Cowboys.
Headphone warning.
Oh, yeah. How about that? Sorry.
You've got Chip Kelly, former Ohio State offensive coordinator, now is the offensive coordinator for the Raiders. This, in my opinion, was just I don't know.
It was a move that happened.
It had to be. You've got David Shaw, who is now the passing game coordinator, for the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that a little while ago.
I'm going to try and say this without messing up his last name. Eric Bieniemy? I think that's how you say it.
Bieniemy?
It's
Eric.
He is the running backs coach now for the Chicago Bears.
Oh yeah, no Bears. I don't know. I was trying to. My mind was still like, how do I say that name?
If you go through some of these, which one do you think works best for what team?
Hard to say. I mean, like a lot of these seem all right. Some of these do not seem as good. What are your thoughts?
It's still, I'm kind of with you. I think it's hard to say which one is going to be the best one. It just depends on how they do and how the team does as well. So now, to wrap up the NFL, I'm going to cover the final 2024 grades for every team.
Whoa.
And I'm going from the highest grade to the lowest grade, which we've already seen this a little bit a couple days ago, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
What do you have here?
Hold on. Apparently, I just saw this. Apparently, Atlanta Falcons' Julio Jones is expected to announce his retirement soon.
We haven't seen it pop up yet.
Yeah.
Don't know how old that story is.
It said 18 hours ago.
So it was at least earlier today, if not yesterday. So we'll see how it goes. But the final 2024 grades is the Eagles, obviously.
Oh yeah.
A+.
Come on, you can't give them anything lower.
No. Commanders at an A. You got Kansas City at an A-, Denver A-, Detroit Lions. This is what shocks me. Detroit Lions get a B+. How? The only thing I would say that gets them lower is because their defense wasn't it. Their defense was still great, but they went to the playoffs. They were the division champs.
That's true. Although going into that postseason, it was not good for them.
They played one game, so that's just me. I don't know. The Buffalo Bills got a B+. Not surprised, but at the same time, I would have felt like it would have been a little bit higher. Los Angeles Chargers gets a B+. The Los Angeles Rams get a B+. You've got the Minnesota Vikings getting a B+ as well.
The Vikings.
Then you go down, the Baltimore Ravens have a B. Green Bay Packers have a B. Houston Texans have a B. I think they should be a B+, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They did great, but they could have been better.
Yeah, then you have the Seattle Seahawks at having a B. which I can understand that. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, their grade is already in the name. It's a B. Yeah, I mean, I do understand that. I mean, I feel like we were kind of wrecked by injuries a lot. Like, we lost a lot of good talent, but
the only
your favorite player, Baker Mayfield.
Get out of here.
No.
The only good or the bad. No, sorry. I'm trying to think of how they say. I think what brought you up a little bit more was getting Evans to that record.
Oh yeah. That and Bucky Irving's start was surges into the season. So, unbelievable. I mean, he's a fantastic player.
So next you've got who?
Keep going. We got the Cardinals at a C+. Now, they're a team.
They were there. They did decent. That's why I agree with that one.
Yeah, I like Kyler Murray did all right. I think he did okay. Then you have the Carolina Panthers getting a C+. Honestly, I think
that's a little higher in my opinion.
I think that's not too bad because, I mean, sure, they did not have a very good record, but I mean, I think they did moderately okay this season. I mean, given last year's absolute disaster, I think they were all right.
Yep.
So then at a C-, you have the Steelers.
I can't really laugh because I've already seen
That's
the
right.
lineup, so I'm gonna.
Then you have the Cincinnati Bengals at D+, aka just Joe Burrow trying to drag his team kicking and screaming.
Okay, hold on.
I'm joking. I
was gonna say, what about Jamar Chase?
No, I'm just joking. Calm down. Anyway, you have the Atlanta Falcons at a D+, the Miami Dolphins at a D+, the Bears at a D. Honestly, yeah, I think that's
after losing Justin Fields and deciding to trade him and go for Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, again, just like I mentioned earlier, rookie quarterbacks could do good or they could do bad.
And he was kind of he was in a very odd area of being bad and also not too bad. I mean, obviously, Jaden Daniels absolutely stole the show, but
he, out of all the rookie quarterbacks that were drafted, I honestly think Jaden Daniels did the best out of all of them. You can't argue with that.
The coldest take in the world, ladies and gentlemen. After that, you have the Indianapolis Colts at a D grade. The New England Patriots, I would give them an F after blowing their first overall pick.
Well,
you had an opportunity and you blew it. New England.
That shows that they have a good team. It's just they need to build a little bit more.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. They have a good team. They just need to build.
I'll take it.
Then you got San Francisco, of course, half of the season. San Francisco 49ers get a D. But when you look at it, you have to look back at the Christian McCaffrey injury.
Yeah.
I think that's what hurt them the most. That's
what even with that injury, this past season has been a giant step back. I mean, they went from going to the Super Bowl to basically just collapsing like a house of cards. I mean, it's kind of hard to see, and even if people aren't necessarily too big on the 49ers, it's hard. It's certainly a disappointment.
Yep. Then you have the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Las Vegas Raiders
in
at
LA
a D-
for a while too.
I can't remember. I know they were in Oakland for years.
Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely know that because how else do you think we beat the crap out of them in the Super Bowl? But yeah, I do remember seeing that they were in LA, I believe. The Los Angeles Raiders. Yep, they were
there for a while.
Yeah, and then they went to Oakland, and then they,
so New Orleans Saints is up next with the D-, and then you get into the failing grades.
And
one of these kind of shocks me. Up first is the Cleveland Browns at an F grade. That's why I said I couldn't really say much about that. You got the Tennessee Titans with an F grade. You've got the Jacksonville Jaguars with an F grade. But I think the only reason they got that one was because of the injury to Trevor Lawrence that hurt their season. You've got the New York Jets at an F grade. You've got the How about them Cowboys? You already said that once.
I will say it as many times as I need to so I can make fun of them, okay?
But in my
I
opinion,
don't know if they'd be an
that's
F,
what I was
though.
gonna say. I see them more as a D, like a D grade. I don't see them as an F. I see them as a D. And then you have the New York Giants with an F.
Maybe just don't be in New York and be a football fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, and like I said, like I will obviously like I'll take any chance to make fun of the Cowboys. All right, I will take any chance to make fun of them, but I don't know if they would be necessarily an F. I mean, the highest I give them is like a C minus.
That's what I was saying. I think they're like, in my opinion, after watching their season, I think they're a D plus D minus.
Yeah.
Or D plus D. So somewhere in that range. That's just me. All right.
Now let's talk about something else besides football.
So let's talk about a little bit about the NBA.
Okay.
I'll keep a little updated on that. But first off, I will start off with a little bit of breaking news as of yesterday of this recording. Spurs head coach Greg Popovich is not expected to return to the team this season.
Yeah,
and his
I saw
future
that.
is uncertain as he recovers from a mild stroke that he suffered in November. I heard about that, and it stinks to see, in my opinion, a Hall of Famer, a Hall of Fame coach, hands down. Everybody can argue with that no matter what, but hands down, he is a Hall of Fame worthy head coach.
Yeah, he's a great basketball coach, and to see him get sidelined by something like that, it's hard to see. And I mean, look, and speaking of the Spurs, they are dealing with a loss of one of the best players in the entire league in Victor Wembanyama, due to a deep vein thrombosis in the right shoulder. In other words, bro's got blood clotting issues, and that's gonna be it's gonna be heavy on them. I mean, because he's been their leader in a lot of their stats, and losing one of the players that's keeping your team slightly relevant, it's gonna screw you over big time. So I really do hope that Wemby manages to recover, because that is a hard loss.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard loss.
And it could be potentially career damaging too. Like if it gets worse, then I mean he could probably see his career plummet.
Yeah,
But let's just hope it doesn't come to that point.
So we'll look back at some of them, and of course everybody's just coming off of the All-Star break that happened. I believe it was just last week too. And a lot of the teams, how they go. Let me see here. I got to get back to where.
There's also some other news where Milwaukee Bucks player Bobby Portis was suspended 25 games for violating the NBA's anti-drug policy.
Lord have mercy.
Yep.
Please. But we look back at some of the...
Bro did not need to do all that.
Yep. We look back at some of these games, like, out of nowhere. I look back to Wednesday, which was 2 days after the All-Star game, which... It's crazy.
Wow.
But this was a close game, surprisingly. The Charlotte Hornets beat the Lakers 100-97. You've got some teams that actually did. You actually had some teams that did a really great job.
The Hornets.
How
do you lose to the Hornets?
But you look back at some of these, like right now, the
Miles.
Cleveland Cavaliers won against the Brooklyn Nets. You've got.
Oh, I told you my Mobley jersey came, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I have it. I got a Cavs.
You look back, like the Boston Celtics, who had some players that went to the All-Star game. They did really good. The Pacers had a really good game. You go all the way back, and there's a lot of different ones you've got. It's going to be crazy. And when I look back, it just depends on the teams, how they come out of the break. It's just kind of like how the All-Star games go for like any other one.
Yeah.
You wonder how the teams are going to do. With this one, it's going to be hard to see some of these teams do good, and hopefully, I want to see some of the teams do good. It's just, I don't know. With the trades going on, now coming back from the All-Star break, and they're starting to get back into it, a lot of teams are going to shoot up, some teams are going to shoot down. We'll see how that goes, and we still have a whole lot of a season going left.
Yeah.
Of course, hockey and basketball always go up until about the same time.
Yeah. Their seasons kind of like run at the exact same time, and so but I've also heard recently. I don't remember if I mentioned this last episode, but The Los Angeles Lakers are among teams interested in pursuing Kevin Durant via trade this offseason. Do I think that's a good idea?
No.
Not at all. No.
Nope.
No. I mean, they already have they already still have LeBron, who is, he's certainly up there in age, and they do still have Luka, but do I think Kevin Durant fits in their roster, or do I think they even need somebody like him? I just don't think it. No, I don't think it would work.
I don't think it would work in their roster at all. That's just me. I'm not a Lakers fan. I would have to ask a Lakers fan what they feel about that. So,
yeah.
As we look at the standings, we'll try and put out a lot of this as we go. So this is through February 21st, which is about a couple days ago. Obviously, some of the games have updated and all that. So actually, let me do this. So, okay, yeah, so it hasn't really changed all that much. So we look back at the Western Conference standings, and like I said, this is from a couple days ago as of this recording, February 21st.
I was about to say, it's not February 21st, Ron.
I said a couple days ago.
It's the 23rd.
So as we look back at this, in the Western Conference standings, you have the OKC Thunder, Oklahoma City Thunder at 45-10 at the top spot. You've got the Memphis Grizzlies, which are technically tied for second place with the Denver Nuggets at 37-19. I think there's a percentage or something that goes along with that. That's why the Memphis Grizzlies are technically second and the Denver Nuggets are third. You've got the Houston Rockets at 35-21. At number 4, you've got the LA Lakers, as we mentioned before, at 33-21. So they're kind of doing good, but at the same time they're not. And then you've got the LA Clippers at 31-24. Now these are the 4 teams that would be in the play-in tournament, and some of these do not surprise me.
Yeah, it's good to see both Los Angeles teams at least doing halfway decent, because the Clippers have been over the past years. They haven't been bad, but they also haven't been the best, and so that's gonna be interesting to see.
But when you look
LA
at this,
too.
So you got the playoffs. The top 6 seeds will be the ones that are automatically in. The bottom 4 seeds in each conference, well, you have the top 6 and then the bottom 4 out of the top 10, I should say, that have to play in, which is why it's called the play-in tournament. So you've got the Minnesota Timberwolves at number 7 at 31-26. You've got the Dallas Mavericks at number 8 with 31-26 as well. That one is going to be a tough one, especially after losing Luka.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, isn't AD injured too?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, wow. That is... Sorry, there's a giant dog outside.
So then you have,
ADHD
at number
over.
9, you've got the Golden State Warriors at 29-27. I think this will be the first time I've seen them in a play-in tournament and not actually making it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Then you have the Sacramento Kings at number 10 with 28-28. So basically, middle of the road.
Yeah, they are literally at 500.
So, to round out the Western Conference and the NBA, you've got the Phoenix Suns at 26-29, 11th in the Western Conference. At number 12, you got the San Antonio Spurs at 24-30.
Yeah, I predict the losing numbers are probably going to get bigger now that Wemby's gone.
Yeah, more than likely. At number 13, bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
At number 13, you've got the Portland Trailblazers, who we'll see on Sunday against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
This coming Sunday?
Technically next Sunday.
Okay,
but
yeah, I'm getting days mixed up. I'm not that bright.
Then you have the Utah Jazz at number 14 at 13-42. I think these last 2 teams, the Jazz and this last team, New Orleans Pelicans, number 15 with 13-43. I think those 2 are just completely out of it.
The Pels, poor guys.
I could be wrong, but I think they're going to be completely out of it.
Just wait, they're going to make you eat tremendous amounts of crap, and they're going to get a 5,000 game winning streak and make the postseason.
That would shock me. Now we'll go on to the Eastern Conference. Owen?
So, in the Eastern Conference, currently first in the East is, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers with a 46-10 record. Right behind them are the Boston Celtics, your current NBA champions, with a 40-16 record. The New York Knicks are behind them at number 3 with a 37-19 record. The Pacers are at number 4 with a 31-23 record. The Milwaukee Bucks at 31-24. The Pistons at 30-26. Wait, the Pistons aren't doing bad?
No, they're not. But
what the heck?
You look at the top 6.
How is that?
You look at the top 6. Cleveland has been, and this is me being unbiased.
Here we go.
No, this is me being unbiased, and you can look back. Cleveland is probably a really dominant team right now.
Oh my gosh!
It's
yes.
the same. I could go back to the Western Conference to say the same thing for OKC. There was a battle for that one, and it was still a great game. I watched that game all the way through, and it was a battle.
Oh, yeah, I mean, guys like Mitchell and Mobley and Garland and all them.
If I have to predict, I will give you my predictions at the end of this. We'll both give our predictions because I think it's going to be huge. But who are the 4 teams that are going to be in the play-in tournament if they were to go to the playoffs right now?
So, number 7, you have the Orlando Magic at 28-30, which is kind of falling. I mean, they weren't doing too bad earlier, but you know, they're kind of falling off.
They got to get a little bit better.
Yeah.
Put
the Miami.
Put Matt McClung in there.
Yeah. Get Shaquille O'Neal to get out of retirement. And just be like, okay, I'm gonna throw the basket. I'm just gonna walk up to the basketball hoop. He'll just drop it. He'll just drop it in there like he's throwing something in a shopping cart. Anyway, like my Shaq impression was not that bad.
Yeah, decent.
It was all right. So then at number 8, the Miami Heat at 26-28, and I predict that they might keep losing now that they've lost he who must not be named.
Yes, and I think as well, I would have to say to that.
Tyler Hero isn't doing too bad, right?
I was gonna say, I would say they get into the play-in tournament, but I don't think they get very far. Either they win and lose in the next round, or they lose and they're out.
Yeah.
That's just how my opinion. Just how my prediction is going to go with that one.
So number 9, we have the Atlanta Hawks at a 26-30 record, and then number 10, the Chicago Bulls at a 22-34 record. Following them, we're getting into the last 5 teams that are just crap.
The teams that would be, if it were to stand now, the teams that would be eliminated from making to the playoffs.
So number 11, the Philadelphia 76ers at a 20-35 record. They are tied currently with the Brooklyn Nets, who have a 20-35 record as well.
I would have to say with the 76ers, with them having Joel Embiid out for a while, I think that's what is majorly hurting them.
Oh, yeah.
Now I think he is back in and he's back to being a starter as well as playing more often. But still, after losing him for a while, it kind of sucks. So
I agree. So then at number 13, we have the Toronto Raptors. They have not been the same over the past few years. I mean, after Kawhi left, I mean they've just kind of been on this like downward trajectory, and it kind of sucks to see. But you know, then at number 14, the Charlotte Hornets at 14-40. One of those 14 wins is against the Lakers, and I swear I don't know why I just like memeing against them.
That's shocking.
Yeah. And then at number 15, this team has just...
I think the worst team in like the whole NBA.
Yeah, in the entire league. The worst team currently at number 15, the Washington Wizards with a 9-46 record. Oh, gosh. Gee Willikers, Batman. That is terrible.
It's crazy. They have done so good in years past, or years prior, I should say. But this year, they are just not doing as good.
Not at all, no.
I don't even know who their 9 wins have come against is the problem.
So this way, one of them's going to be against the Cavs, and I'm going to laugh.
I would not be surprised. I think that's what happened because I tried to keep up with all that stuff.
It's crazy though. I mean, like it's been a rough road for Washington. It has certainly been rough for them. You're checking the schedule. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Toronto. They beat the Toronto Raptors. Oh, that's preseason.
The tank.
Hold on. That was preseason. Lost to Boston. Lost to the Cavaliers. Wizards have beaten the Hawks twice.
Wow.
Okay.
So we're at 3 wins now because they
2 because the other one was
yeah. I'm trying to remember what the other what.
Still going. Still have not won.
Maybe we should just get to another topic because we could probably be here for a while.
It's gonna take forever. Denver Nuggets.
They won against the Nuggets?
Yep.
Jeez.
Somehow. Charlotte Hornets.
Joker, what are you doing over there?
Charlotte Hornets twice. Chicago Bulls.
Okay. I'll just get my topics ready.
I'm still going. It's been forever. Then we're on a break again. Here we go. Now it's a run of losses and losses and losses. Charlotte Hornets again. Brooklyn Nets. And then there's one more down here. Hold on. Where is it? Maybe it's 8. I wonder where the 9 came from. I might have missed one. Oh well. But
let's just talk about something
crazy.
else
So
other than how bad
if I had to, so with my predictions on how it goes, it's going to sound biased, but when you look at the different, if I had to predict the 2 teams that will make it to the NBA Finals, I'm just saying the 2 teams that will make it to the NBA Finals. I'm not saying who's going to win it. If I had to say the 2 teams that will make it to the NBA Finals are OKC Thunder, because they have been dominant this year, but also at the same time, like I said, this is because I'm saying this unbiasedly. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers will make it to the Finals. I'm
fair.
Saying that, and you have to agree with that. I'm saying this unbiasedly.
I don't have to agree with it. I do what I want. It's a free country.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to agree with it, but
you just said you have to agree with me. Make up your mind.
You look at how they play. And you have to look at how they've been dominant. Both OKC and Cleveland Cavaliers only needed to win once and then have to win every single game to beat the Warriors' regular season record.
Yeah.
They both have lost that one, have had that one loss, so now they've actually had 2 losses since that happened. So unfortunately, neither one of them can beat the record. So the Golden State Warriors are still hold that record.
Shit.
It will be broken one year.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who it will be by.
The Wizards. Just wait.
I swear, if the Wizards beat it, I will.
Just wait. They're gonna trade. Everybody's gonna go there. It's gonna be Luka going there. It's gonna be Joker going there. You're gonna
see LeBron James go over there.
It's gonna be LeBron going over there. It's gonna be Bronny. It's gonna be everybody. Everybody's gonna go over there, and then they're gonna win the Super Bowl against the Detroit Red Wings and take home the Commissioner's Trophy. Go Sportsball!
If I had. Honestly, I don't know if the only thing I will say is I don't know if the Lakers or if LeBron will leave the Lakers. I could see him doing it. I think it just depends on how this latter half of the season goes.
This way, he's going to go back to Cleveland.
If he does, I will go absolutely bonkers.
That would be funny.
But let's cover a little bit about the NHL. The only reason.
Oh wait. No, I thought
you got one more.
Because I have things about baseball that I thought we were going to talk about. I thought we were doing MLB and then NHL.
No, we're doing NHL then MLB because we've got quite a bit of MLB, but
I got a lot of NHL stuff too.
We'll have to go with NHL. First off, we got to cover the Four Nations.
Oh,
Four
yeah.
Nations.
So,
the Four Nations Faceoff. Yeah, it's over as of a few days ago from this day. It was on February 20th.
Yep.
Between USA and Canada. Unfortunately, Canada won in overtime 3-2.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't even say I'm surprised. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was rooting heavily for Team USA, but first of all, I mean, Canada's roster, man, they unmatched. I mean, that again, like I keep saying, that first line was just lethal. And I think, and I'm going to be honest, I think the Team USA kind of fell into the same trap as the Memphis Grizzlies did back in 2023, where they just kept talking too much, and that's what kind of screwed them over. I mean, guys like Hellebuck played fantastic, but I mean, you just look at Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, who were constantly talking smack about Team Canada and all of them. I mean, everybody was doing it, and so at the end of the day, it's like I feel bad, but at the same time, it's kind of like, hey man, what are you doing?
But if you go into rivalry week anytime, it's still going to be that same way. Whether you win or lose, people are going to talk crap to each other. I almost said something else, but talk crap to each other.
I agree with you.
So.
It's just I do kind of see like why Canada would have been playing a lot harder. It's like you want to shut your opponents up because they're just they're talking too much,
especially after getting beat at
oh
home.
my god, yeah.
But
yeah, and
I think
especially when you just leave the best player in the NHL wide open. It's just like no defensemen were over there, and then you just flung it past Hellebuck, and there it was. And I gotta say, Team USA also did suffer. Sorry, I'm trying not to talk over you, but. Also, Team USA did suffer a number of injuries. I mean, like Matthew Tkachuk was playing through a lower body injury. I believe there was something wrong with his leg, and he could be done for the season,
which sucks.
Yeah, especially for the Panthers, since they definitely want to try to get that title defense. But also
oh my gosh.
But also worst of all, Charlie McAvoy has landed on the IR. Following a nasty, I believe it was a shoulder injury, then he went to the hospital and stuff like that. So his season's probably done.
So it was.
It is done.
I remember watching this play and everything when it happened. I think it was in Boston because he went to the Boston hospital and Boston Bruins released it. I could be wrong because he played. I remember him playing in the game just before. I remember him playing in the semifinals game. It was against Sweden. I think Sweden was, because we absolutely smacked Finland.
I'm gonna say Sweden. I don't remember.
It's somewhere around there. It was either Sweden or Finland. But he cross-checked him into the back, and his shoulder went directly into the goalpost. And the one thing that made me mad. It made me mad. He didn't even get a penalty. The person who cross-checked him did not even get a penalty. Yeah. I was absolutely enraged.
Yeah, the referees were not very good for the Four Nations. I mean, you did have those missed
too many men on the ice.
Too many men, and then there was that one ice thing. But
that shouldn't. I'm just gonna leave it because in my opinion that should not have been icing. They've missed the too many men on the ice. I can't say that they were Canadian favored. But it seemed like there was a lot more penalties called against the opponents that played against Canada.
Well, now to be fair, Team USA does have like quite a few. They did have a few dirty players. I agree. I mean, Matthew and Brady Tkachuk. I mean, besides their amazing play and fighting ability, they also are not known for being very clean. I mean, let's just say they would be at like near the bottom of players trying to get the Lady Byng trophy.
I'm sorry. You're saying this to a guy to a country that had probably the dirtiest player in the NHL in Brad Marchand.
Yeah, but no. I'm referring to Team USA because I mean, like, yeah,
I understand.
It's like having two players that are like Brad Marchand, maybe not as much, but it's like double them together, and it's like, yeah, we're like Brad.
If you still have yet to watch the video of the fight between USA and Canada in the first one, you need to go watch that.
That was
3 fights
fun.
within 9 seconds. I am surprised that there was not another fight again in the championship game. I was sitting there waiting for it, and nothing happened. I was like, what? Like, this is, as I call it, the Battle of North America.
Yeah, it's like they were just like, you were just like, come on.
Well, do something.
But
now that the Four Nations Faceoff is over, now they get back into the season. Who knows how it's going to go? Right now, I can't wait for us. I can't wait for that game in Columbus that we're going to see.
It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But what other stuff is going on around the NHL that some people may not know about?
Well, Alex Ovechkin, the grade 8, has scored a power play goal recently. Actually, just while we were recording.
Yeah.
About 33 minutes ago, to move within 14 goals of breaking the Great One's record.
And how many games are left? There's quite
I don't remember how many games left, but there's still quite a bit before April. So, ladies and gentlemen, put me on record saying this. He's going to break that record before the end of the season. I think that's possible.
Sorry, but only Megan here.
I have
to agree with you.
Yeah.
I have to agree. I think he's going to get it.
Agree or die. But yeah, that's crazy.
I think he is going to get that record. As much as I want to see Gretzky, the Great One, still hold that record. Yeah, it's going to be beat by Alex if he beats that this season, even if he doesn't get it this season, he's going to get it next season.
Oh, absolutely.
And in my opinion, I don't care if it's in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
He's going to retire. He will go. I don't know how their Hall of Fame stuff works, but
Oh no, Alex is going in Hall of Fame like
No matter what.
automatically. Like
matter what.
that is locked. I mean,
he'll announce his retirement, and the committee's going to be like,
yeah.
"You're in."
I mean, like looking at him and Crosby, like those two are Hall of Fame locks. Just like that. I mean, at the very least, their numbers are getting retired, and if anybody tries to wear the number 8 in Washington, they're just going to get like Tom Wilson to go into their house and beat him with a crowbar.
They will definitely hang.
Yeah,
up his-
but like looking at the way that him and Crosby impacted this game and impacted the league, they're going to be in the Hall of Fame, whether they like it or not. They are going in there. Their pictures are going to be in there. And even though, you know, Gretzky, it'd be cool to see the great one still have that record. He still has like a million other records on his hand. I mean, nobody's coming close to his points record.
Nobody is going to even say, like, he's not even going to lose that name, the Great One. Everybody
Never.
is still going to give him that name. The Alex Ovechkin, the reason why he wasn't given the Great One is because he always wore number 8. So that's why he got the Great 8.
So by that logic,
And it
then
works.
Gretzky should have been called the Great 99 because he always wore 99.
But yes, but you have to think.
You silly goose, you.
But you have to think about that stuff.
I don't
So
think
what
my
are-
brain doesn't work like that.
So what other stuff do you have around the NHL? that is
Well, apparently, Andy Strickland, like an insider, I believe, has said that Brady Tkachuk leaving Ottawa is inevitable and that he will try to team up with Matthew Tkachuk in Florida. Dude, just give Florida the cup. Just don't let it leave the state of Florida. I mean, come on. Tampa wins it twice, then Florida wins it. The cup belongs in the Sunshine State. We're a better hockey city than Ottawa. I'm falling. Ow. The back of my head hit the chair.
But here's the thing.
Go Tampa.
Here's the thing. You've got Columbus still. Columbus has proven to be a great team this year as well.
Who cares about Columbus? Tampa's better. I'm kidding. I'm sure. Dude.
Do you want to go to Ohio? That's what I thought.
Don't play this card with me, Ronald McDonald. Anyway, but yeah. So I mean,
That would be good.
do I think it's wise on Ottawa's part? I mean, on Florida's part. I mean, I think it'd be
going to
cool,
be
but that cap is going to be very rough. I mean, they have a lot of players signed, like, you know, guys like Reinhart, and they have guys like Barkov and Playoff Bob and stuff like that. I mean, and
Explain who Playoff Bob is.
Sergei Bobrovsky.
There you go.
That his nickname is Playoff Bob.
That's
So-
I was gonna say for people who don't know him.
I forgot. But also, I mean, like that was one of the things about this past offseason. You know, they had to choose whether they wanted to keep Sam Reinhart, one of their best goal scorers possibly ever, or if they wanted to keep Brandon Montour, who was an animal in the past 2 years for Florida during their playoff run. So,
But
you know
also
what?
have,
Like, you never know.
and now
Oh, and we just got word that apparently
now he
Gretzky
just
got
scored again.
13. He got a hat trick. Why? Why do they make us do? Why do they do
That
this?
is crazy.
Are they Gretzky? I mean, Ovi, come on, man.
So
We're in the
now
middle of a podcast.
So now he's with, as we have said, he's hit 3, which is a hat trick in hockey. Alex Ovechkin has hit 3 goals, which he's hit 880, 881, and now he's on 882.
Yeah.
He is just now within 13. I'm going to laugh if he gets another one as soon as we end this.
Just
But-
wait. This is the game where he brings it.
But having to go back to what they like with that him possibly going to Florida.
Oh yeah. Brady Tkachuk.
If I had to go back to that, it's not a bad move. But when you look, what I said earlier, I think it was in either episode 3 or 4, about that cap being moved up.
Oh yeah,
Think
I forgot
about
that.
Think about
Yeah.
that. So that if the cap moves up, then they are definitely going to that because it will move the cap up a little bit more in 2026, and then in 2027, and then it's going to keep going up. So I think it is a good move, and they will be contenders again. That's just
Yeah.
So
But here's like another thing that I'm thinking about is simply the fact that like even with the cap going up, you also have to consider the fact that he could probably command quite a bit of money. So
Who wouldn't?
he could probably with his talent. So for all we know, like Florida could probably end up having to move several maybe a player or two and stuff like that. But that's all in the future. As of right now, we don't know. But there's also word that Seth Jones said that he would be open to returning to the Columbus Blue Jackets in a trade, but I don't know if that's a very good idea. He's kind of been a mess in Chicago, and he also wasn't like he was great. He was good he was very good in Columbus, but we'll have to see. He's also been linked to the Stars, the Avalanche, and the Panthers, but I think that it's possible he could return to Columbus.
Best fit in Columbus, I think.
Yeah.
But I will also say this. I'm going to interject and do a little side trick. I don't know if you had seen this video. I believe it was last night. Was Johnny Gaudreau Jr.'s first birthday.
Yeah.
And the whole entire arena, I believe they were in Nationwide Arena, which is the arena for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Mm-hmm. And every single fan in there sang happy birthday. That is just a wholesome moment. I wish I was there to do. I'm hoping we see Johnny Jr.
Oh yeah,
I'm hoping to see him.
Like if we go to Ohio and he's there, he's going to be a celebrity. Like,
it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
I would love just to get a picture with him.
I would just love to just be at the game and just be like, let's go Blue Jackets, let's go Johnny Hockey, and stuff like that. Like they're definitely going to be bringing up something for Johnny.
They'll definitely do something for Johnny. Maybe even we might get into our first Johnny Hockey chant.
Oh yes. They were doing that a lot during the Four Nations. I remember hearing that at the start of the start of OT.
I was going to say I think they did it twice. They did it somewhere in the third period, and then they did it in right at the start of overtime in the Four Nations, the Four Nations Championship to be specific.
Yeah. That's
it wasn't in any other place, obviously, because for me, I was surprised they didn't do it in Montreal, considering he didn't play for Montreal. He played for Calgary. So
yeah, and I remember when the season started, and the first game with the Blue Jackets in Calgary, and then Sean Monahan ran in there. Man, like that part where he was in the face-off and he was just crying because of the puck drop and all that. And they had all the stuff for Johnny up there. That was. Anyway,
we're hoping to take a picture in front of the mural, which we'll post on our.
Because that's
we'll post on our Instagram. We'll also keep you updated if you follow the Let's Go Sportsball podcast on Instagram. We'll keep you updated on there. Post a little bit on the story. Maybe even put out some posts just for people to see. So,
shameless plugging. Woohoo!
Okay.
I was joking. But
what is the last couple of things that you got?
So another thing is Mikko Rantanen. Now there's been a lot of talk about Mikko, especially after that trade with Carolina, it hasn't been great. I mean, he still hasn't been as productive as they want. And there's been a lot of talk that he doesn't want to sign long term in Carolina, and it's possible that Mikko Rantanen could get over $14 million AAV if he goes into free agency. And some of the teams that are currently in the running that have been linked to him are the Dallas Stars, the Florida Panthers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Winnipeg Jets, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I won't lie, despite the fact that I don't know how we would get him, saying we as in Tampa Bay, while I don't know how we would get him because we would probably have to shift a lot of stuff around.
It would be hard.
It would be hard, but if we were to get Rantanen, I think we would have a legitimate shot at the Cup because, I mean, looking at the way that Tampa is playing, I think they're pretty good. Just bias aside. And I mean, with Jake Gensel being as good as he is, Nikita Kucherov still producing, Andrei Vasilevsky being a beast in net, and stuff like that. Our defense is starting to find some form, and JJ Moser could come back soon. I mean, he was an awesome defenseman. So, if he comes back in time, then I think the Tampa Bay Lightning could make a very strong push to make the Cup. But again, I'm probably just delusional. Joe Rogan drug and whatnot. There's also been Brock Besser has also been in trade talks recently. I mean, with Vancouver basically sucking now. He's been linked to the Minnesota Wild, the Los Angeles Kings, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think Besser would honestly be a pretty interesting.
Columbus Blue Jackets are doing good. Why is nobody wanting to go to them?
No comment.
So, yeah, you better keep your mouth shut.
You asked me a question and you say, yeah, you better keep
It was
your
a
mouth shut.
rhetorical question.
Here comes your rhetoricals. Here they come.
What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, just messing. And he's also been linked to the Leafs. Do I think he'd be a good fit in Tampa? I could see it. And I mean, here's the thing. I personally think that if we get a better backup than Jonas Johansson, and if we get like another star forward, we could definitely make a case. And Brock Besser is a very good player, and so he'll probably also be cheaper than Mikko Rantanen. So I think him coming to Tampa is not necessarily a bad idea. But again, you got to consider the fact that that with how good he is, he's going to command a bit of money, and also. You'd have to move some parts around. And Tampa barely even has a first-round pick anymore. I don't even know when the next time we have one because, I mean, especially after that Tanner Jeannot trade, we, a couple of years ago, we basically lost, 90% of our draft classes. One of the worst trades I've ever seen in my life. That was so bad.
We'll see how it goes. This season is still underway. It's still going through. We're close. I think the NHL is close to halfway through the season or somewhere around there because they haven't hit the All-Star break. Usually is the signal of the halfway point of the season. Usually with the NHL having the Four Nations, we don't know how many more games are left because we had the Four Nations face-off, but you still have the All-Star game coming up in a month or two.
Yeah, I guess
in a couple of
the
months.
All-Star game is usually terrible now, so
Okay, the skills challenge is fun. I like it at least.
Also, speaking of your Columbus Blue Jackets, if it is said that, according to Frank Saravalli, if the Blue Jackets fall out of the race for the postseason, they could trade Ivan Provorov and sign him again in free agency. I don't know.
What?
That's just weird, Frank.
How does that work? So
Frank, what are you saying, Frank?
So wait.
That's
so
weird.
what they're saying is they would trade him.
And then sign him again.
And then sign him again. If you trade somebody, you can't get him. The only way to get him back is to trade somebody else. Because they can't just trade him to free agency.
It's just like, oh, hey, by the way, all right, so let's say they traded him to just give me a random team.
Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah. Hey, so Ivan, we traded you to Chicago, but here, have a contract. Here, have contracts. Even though it's not legal, come play for us again.
It's going to be crazy.
That makes no sense. Maybe I'm not smart, but I don't know. And also the Montreal Canadiens, who are just. They're just a mess now. They haven't been good since their out of nowhere playoff run in 2021, where they lost to your Tampa Bay Lightning. Yay!
As in, you said it to.
I say it to the audience. Apparently, they are expected to move David Savard, Lightning legend, Jake Evans, Joel Armia, and Christian Dvorak. I've heard Jake Evans has been linked to the Lightning, but I don't know if we really need another center. But it's interesting, and I guess they're definitely going to try to work on. I mean, the team is young. The team is pretty young.
Give it some time
with younger guys like Nick Suzuki, Yura Slavkovsky, and of course Cole Caulfield. We'll definitely have to see how they end up doing with all that. And the last thing that we are going to talk about is the Anaheim Ducks possibly testing the trade market for Robbie Fabry and Brian Dumoulin. I mean, the Ducks have been. I mean, you could basically just say Anaheim sucks and that's it. But I mean, the Ducks have been a mess. They haven't been it doesn't feel like they can ever do anything right. And Robbie Fabry and Brian Dumoulin, they are bad players. So I think they could definitely. So I think if they move on from where they are, I think they could do well.
We'll see.
And I like Robbie Fabry, and so I mean I think it'd be cool if he came to Tampa. He's a competent winger in my opinion. And Brian Dumoulin, he's not bad at defense, so he could probably find some good form somewhere.
Yep.
Just please get rid of Pat Verbeek. He's a horrible GM. And with that out of the way,
let's move on.
Let's talk about baseball. And I have something here about the 2025 playoff chances. And according to PCOTA, whatever that is, PECOTA,
however it is,
Sportsball. According to that, the Rockies, Marlins, and White Sox have a 0% chance of making the playoffs, and the season hasn't even started. Honestly, can't say I'm surprised.
I was going to say, we look at it, and the spring training has actually officially started as of, I believe it was Thursday, which is awesome to see the baseball season now get underway. Somewhat underway. It's just kind of like the NHL and the NFL and the NBA having the preseason. Just because how they do good in the preseason or in the spring training does not prove anything in the regular season. You never know what's going to happen. But bouncing off of that with the playoff chances as well as World Series chances, these are the top 10 teams with the chance to win the World Series. Seattle Mariners at number 10 with 2.6%. Shocking, but not. Yeah. You've got the Arizona Diamondbacks at 3.1% at number 9. You've got the Philadelphia Phillies with a 4% chance.
Can I just say,
at number 8?
That's a weird name. Just like calling yourself the Phillies. I'm either thinking you just named yourself after your city, or you named yourself after a cheesesteak sandwich. Okay. Like, all right, we have the Diamondbacks, we have the Yankees, we have a pair of socks, and we have a sandwich. I don't know. I just always found that kind of funny.
Going on to number 7, you have the Baltimore Orioles with a 4.9% chance of winning it. Does not shock me, but at the same time, I feel like I could have seen them a little bit higher.
We all know who's going to be number 1. The Rays. Delusional, okay? I told you.
Yeah. You got the Texas Rangers at number 6 with a 5.1% chance. And then you have the Houston Astros.
I knew that was coming.
With a number 5 with 5.4% of making it. Not really shocked, but at the same time.
Yeah, all I'll say is that if you weren't going to call them the Trash Shows, I was going to call them the Trash Shows.
You've got the New York Mets at number 4 with a 6.4% chance of winning the World Series. You've got the New York. This is a huge jump right here. This is shocking to me. You got the New York Yankees at number 3, jumping up to 10.2% chance of winning the World Series. You've got the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves at number 2 with a 14.2%. That does not shock me. I would love to see Atlanta win, but for me, I would rather see my Cleveland Indians win it. So
yeah.
And then at number 1,
there's no surprise here.
After the signings that they have had all off season and what has been going on,
the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm kidding. No.
The Los Angeles Dodgers at number 1 with a 26.9% chance of winning the World Series.
Misery.
Anything can happen. Those stats don't mean anything right now. That's just a percentage of them winning it. And those are low, in my opinion. The 26.9%, yes, that's a little high. But that is still a low percentage that could happen.
Also, I do have a fun question to ask you. So looking back at this number of they have 0 chance of making it. The Marlins, the White Sox, and the Rockies. This is something I think I'm gonna have fun with asking. Who do you think has the best and worst chances out of those 3? I know they all say 0, but like you said, stats are kind of an iffy thing. So do you
worst chance?
Yeah.
White Sox.
Oh, absolutely. I knew.
Best chance? It's going to be hard, but I would have to say Miami.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It doesn't matter. That's who I say has the best chance. The only reason I'm not saying the Rockies is because Rockies they've been decent, but they could be better. I will say this. There is one signing that I have, per reports. The Pirates are signing Andrew Heaney to a 1-year, $5 million deal plus incentives. Ooh. That's pretty big.
Oh yeah, I had something for the NHL that I completely forgot to talk about.
We'll get that on the next episode.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you have other stuff?
I have something about your Guardians.
Yes.
So
Indians.
The Cleveland baseball team has signed right-handed pitcher guy Jacob Junis to a 1-year contract. So
Never know what could happen. When we say
made his MLB debut with the Royals in 2017, and started his year with the Brewers. Excuse me.
bless you.
I think.
He started.
Something's going around.
So he did a really great job with the Brewers in the 2024 season, and then being dealt over to the Reds. He worked as both as a starter and a reliever last season, which is very rare to see in my opinion. Appearing in 24 games, in those games he posted a 2.69 ERA across 67 innings, striking out 51 and only walking just 8 batters.
Nice.
I think it's a good move. I will just have to see once the season comes around. Of course, like I said, we're underway in the season. It's spring training. It is not what you should watch to see how the season's going to go. Because your baseball team could really do great, and then next thing you know, their season comes around, and halfway through, they just absolutely suck.
There are a couple other signings that I have. For example, did I talk about the Justin Turner getting signed to the Cubs last episode?
I can't remember, but if you want to reiterate that, let's go ahead.
I don't remember if I said this or not. I have the memory of a goldfish, so yeah. So Cubs signed infielder Justin Turner to a 1-year contract. I know that you love the Cubs, so do you think that's a good move?
I don't know.
I should start running, right?
I don't know, and you better. Alrighty. Get back here. You need to finish this episode with me.
Yes, I do. But then
it's
I'll
going.
start
I don't know how to say, like, specifically about them. It's going to be hard because I don't really follow them as much. I should try and follow more of the league, but we'll see how it goes. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, they have actually signed left-handed pitcher. That's just the one that I just covered. So we'll skip that one for now.
Yeah. There's also a trade recently. The Rays have traded right-handed pitcher Mason. No. They traded for Mason Engler from the Tigers in exchange for minor league left-handed pitcher Drew Summers.
And look who he's going to.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, yeah. He's going to the Rays, and so now. I'm not a big baseball guy. I'm still working on getting into it. So, what are your thoughts on this? Who do you think won this trade?
It's going to be hard. I think Detroit has done a really great job, but honestly, with Tampa Bay still trying to recover a little bit, especially now this season, having to play in the new stadium, which is what sucks about it. I hate seeing Tampa Bay has to play in the new stadium.
Yeah,
but I think both of them did really good. The only problem is the Tigers should have gone, instead of going for a minor league player, they should have probably gone for at least I think they should have gone for somebody who's been a starter, who's been on the bench at least. Because the problem is you put in this left-handed pitcher, if you put him as a starter and he doesn't do as good, then the trade doesn't go as well.
Yeah.
But he could pop off. Who knows what could happen. So the season's going to be great. I can't wait for the regular season start, and I'm
definitely gonna have to start watching a bit of baseball.
Both of us are going to have to start watching a little bit more of the sports and of baseball, trying to keep up with it.
And
the last thing on the baseball, this is a new system that they are trying out, and they are currently trying out in the spring training, is the automated ball strike system. That's being tested right now. So it's basically a challenge type thing, like how you have challenges in basketball, you've got challenges in football. Does hockey have challenges? I think they do.
Wait, what do they have?
Hockey have challenges?
Coach challenges. Coach challenges. Yeah, they have those.
So
if they fail, then you get a 2-minute minor penalty for delay of game.
Okay, but there's challenges going all around. Baseball has had challenges for like other plays, but this automated ball strike system, ABS as it's called, you get to challenge whether it's a ball or a strike. If you think it's a strike or you think it's a ball, the way they do it is tap the top of their head. So each team will start with 2 challenges, and they will only lose their challenge if the umpire's call is confirmed. So if they win it, they get the challenge back. If they don't win it, it's gone. only the batter, pitcher, or catcher can challenge a call. The player, it says, will tip the cap/helmet to the umpire to signal that they want to challenge. But however, I have seen videos of it. They are actually tapping the top of their helmet or their hat to signal that they want to challenge it. I have seen it done before, and it's. I think it's a great idea, but at the same time, let it happen.
Yeah.
Let it happen. There will be no additional challenges in extra innings. So once those challenges are done, you don't get any more, especially in there. And as they say here, it is a Hawkeye view. A Hawkeye view will be shown during the review. So they show up top, they show from the backside, and they show from the front, from the pitcher's point of view. So it just depends. So I think this is a great idea, but at the same time, let it happen. If there's bad calls, there's bad calls. It's going to happen. So, but it's I don't know. How do you feel about this? Having them do it instead of having like actual umpire. Like you still have the umpires, but they can challenge whether it's a ball or strike. You only get 2 challenges. I don't think it's worth putting this system in.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting concept, but in action, I don't know about it. It's one of those things where it's like I kind of want to see it like in action for a minute, like just to like kind of see how it would work and stuff like that, like you know, just to see how it would happen and what kind of things could result from it. Like I just like I know what you just explained the rules, but it's one of those things where you want to see it in action first, and it could probably be a good move. It could probably be a terrible move. You never know.
If it's a bad call, let it happen. Everybody hates Angel Hernandez because he cannot make strike calls worth anything. Well, he can't make strike or ball calls worth anything. I have not liked Angel Hernandez. I have respect for him somewhat. Not a lot, but somewhat.
Shocker.
So we'll see how it goes. A lot of people do hate him. I'm hoping some of these seasons will be great. I can't wait for the MLB season to start.
Yeah. And,
is there any final parting words that you have? Before I have to chase.
I'm stoked for next week.
Oh, I am too.
I'm stoked for next week. All right, well, I'm going to start running because he's about to murder me. Good talk, y'all. Let's go, Sportsball!
See you next time.